Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all staying safe and I hope everybody out there is doing well with their reselling business. My personal business is still going strong. I'm still selling on eBay, Amazon, Mercari, Poshmark, all of them are still going. I've made sales since all of this started going down, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to share with you in today's video. It's going to be a little different. I got a bunch of eBay stuff just like normal, but I'm also going to share some sales that I had on Mercari and Amazon with you guys just to show you the kind of stuff that's selling on those platforms as well. When it comes to reselling, you just got to be flexible and move with the market, see the trends and go with them. So right now people are staying inside, so the indoor activities and stuff like that are selling hot. Your books, your games, your video games, stuff like that. Keep those in mind when you're going sourcing. One more thing before we jump into it, this video's positive comment shout out goes to Stephanie Montano Reyes. I hope I said that right. She says, favorite channel, I look forward to your videos, uplifting and positive. Thank you. Thanks for the kind words, Stephanie. I appreciate the support and thank you for watching my videos. If you would like your comment to be the positive comment shout out of the next video, please leave a comment on this video and I might pick it. That being said, let's hop right into it. The first item I'm going to talk about is this North Face Flight Series Gore-Tex Hyper Air jacket. This was a pickup from TJ Maxx. I picked it up for 20 bucks on their yellow tag clearance sale. If you guys don't know about the yellow tag clearance sale, it happens every quarter. They start marking down the clearance into a further clearance section. This happened to be one of the items. Again, paid 20 bucks, ended up taking a best offer of $100 and it sold in 2 days. Next, here we have a vintage starter New York Mets jersey. This was actually a really cool piece. It sat on my store for a while. I had it priced pretty high because I thought it was a rare jersey. I thought the look was there. I thought the pinstripes made it unique. There weren't any other solds for me to compare it to of this style on eBay. However, it might have been a little too high on my asking price. It ended up sitting in my store for about 6 months, maybe a little longer than that before it actually sold. I think I picked this up in midsummer at some point during a garage sale. But it did end up selling and I ended up taking a best offer of $60 on it. You can see I originally had it priced at $75. Again, I just thought maybe I could ask a little more on this piece because it was a vintage one. It had the nice pinstriping, and those are kind of the things you want to look for with starter pieces. Vintage starter sells well, especially in desirable teams like the New York Mets. Okay, so I don't talk about this brand too often. This is Olakai. They're a great fishing shoe, and when I find them, I definitely pick them up. They're pretty easy to clean. They're typically made of a leather. You can just give it a quick wipe down and make them look pretty good. These ones I picked up for like $5 or something. It was in one of my last thrift store videos, but I think I ended up paying like $5 for it and sold it for the best offer of $35 in about 3 to 4 days. So this went really quick in my store and I couldn't be happier with the sale. It's definitely a Bolo brand to look for. Here's what the brand name looks like, Olukai, and here is the label. I'll zoom in on it for you guys. That's what the label is you want to look for. These open toe slippers and stuff, these loafers sell really well. So if you ever see them, definitely pick them up. All right, it's another POC helmet. I know I've showed them a lot, but this was such a great sale. I can't help but add them to the video. They are still selling. I believe this was my last one of the spin helmets that I had left. And overall, if you haven't seen this pickup, definitely go watch that video. It was amazing. I picked them up at the beginning of the year, paid between 15 and 20 bucks per helmet, and this one I took a best offer of $150 on. Couldn't be happier. Snowboarding season's starting to fade out, so that's why I took a little bit of a lower offer than what I did on some of the other ones, but seeing as we're moving into spring, I mean, I'm not probably going to sell many of them in the summer, so I'll take the sale now. So like I said in the beginning of the video, I've definitely seen an increase with all this stuff going around in my sales of home items. So stuff you can do within your house, such as DVDs like this one, video games, board games. I sold a sewing kit recently. There's just all kinds of stuff selling. This one happened to be the Pacific Blu-ray disc set, sorry, and it ended up selling for 20 bucks. This was actually sitting in my store for a month or two before it ended up selling. I don't do a ton of DVDs and Blu-rays, but when they're sealed box sets, can't help but pick them up if I'm getting them for $1 or $2. So I think I had like $1 into this, sold it for 20. This kind of stuff is selling well, so if you have any sealed DVDs sitting around your house, taking up space, get them listed because they are selling right now. People are just looking for things to do inside their house while they can't go out, while they're not at work, while they're sitting at home with their families. They want stuff to do, and DVDs and Blu-rays and video games, that kind of stuff is selling like fire right now. That's where the market is. That's where your focus should be. And those are the things you're trying to pick up when you are doing your sourcing, whether it's retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. However you're getting your products right now, this stuff is selling, so keep an eye out. Here we have a sweater. I ended up picking this up at a thrift store. I believe I paid like $7 for it. This is a Wallace & Barnes, which was a new brand to me. I had never sold this brand before. Here it is. Here's the tag right here. So this was a pretty good brand to pick up. I couldn't be happier with how this one sold. It only sat in my store for, I think, about a month. And with a new brand, that's usually what I'm aiming for. I was asking $40 on it. Took a best offer of $35, which is completely fine with me, especially since we are starting to move into the spring season. So I don't pick up a ton of college sports memorabilia or anything like that. I will occasionally if it's a good school and a good team. This one just happened to catch my eyes because it was new with tags. This was a Nike Penn State pullover sweater. You can see right here, it still had the tags attached, which is the reason that I ended up buying it. I looked it up in the store and it looked like comps were going pretty good. Ended up selling in only about a week, so it was a really good flip. I paid $5 for it, ended up selling for a best offer of $25. Penn State, I've noticed, is one of those schools that will do well on certain things. I've sold a few jackets and stuff of theirs, done pretty well, some jerseys and stuff, done pretty well on those, and now this vest. So if you're seeing Penn State stuff, it might be worth looking up when you're outsourcing. However, if it is new with tags, it's probably worth picking up. This was a pretty cool piece. This is a Harley Davidson piece. I actually pick up a decent amount of Harley here in Cincinnati. People like to ride their motorcycles and stuff, so I find it relatively often. This was a sleeveless button front vest, and it had this nice skull graphic on the back. When you're finding Harley stuff, the bigger the graphic, the more bold it is, the more stand out it is. Usually the more you can ask for it. So this one had a pretty big skull on the back of it, as you can see right here. And that's what made this one be worth a little bit more than other vests. A blank vest for this style thing would be around the $20 mark. This one having the vest or the skull on the back, or like if you find one with an eagle or the pig riding the bike and stuff, those things go for more as well. But this one I ended up selling for $27.50. This one was a pretty good sale. I talk about this camera pretty often because I find it pretty often, and whenever I find it, I buy it. I don't mind paying up for this camera. This particular one, I didn't pay up for that much. I think I paid $10 for it, but I don't mind paying up to like $20-$30 for this camera because they're always a really good flip at over $100 without a lens. So this one did have a lens. It wasn't a very desirable one, but this is a Canon AE1 program SLR camera, and like I said, these sell really well. I find them a lot. It's one of those older cameras that has a very good market, and it's one of those cameras that sells really quickly when you do put it up and you price it right. Normally, if you find them, it will come with a few lenses and stuff. I would suggest looking up the lenses individually because there are a lot of lenses that are worth very good money as well. I would typically suggest that you separate the body and the lenses. However, this one, the lens wasn't worth that much, so I just included it in the bundle and asked a little bit more for it. So Canon AE1 is a great camera to find and look for. On a side note, when you are finding vintage cameras, you want to open up the back of them, make sure there's nothing going on in the film with the film on the inside, make sure it's not like deteriorating or anything like that. Make sure the shutters are working and they're sliding up and down smoothly. The last thing you want is to get something to the buyer and it not be checked properly, and then you have to pay for the shipping back. On these Canon AE1s, the things that you'll typically want to look for are the shutters. You'll want to look for some like fungus growth inside the lenses if the lens is still attached. And then you want to check the battery compartment to make sure the batteries aren't corroded. And the battery compartment is located over here on the left side of the camera if you're looking at the front, but it's definitely something to look for. So this is a pretty cool piece. I actually had this in my personal collection for a while. I found it over the summer and I just couldn't find a really cool place to display it. It had a really cool graphic on the front. Donkey Kong Country, it's an iconic Super Nintendo game. It's something that a ton of people remember, and video game collectors love displaying this stuff in their rooms. This also had the Pog theme going for it. So if you remember, Pogs are like the little slammer cardboard things, and those actually have a little bit of a collector's market still. They were really hot in the 90s, but this was a Pog pitching game for Donkey Kong Country. It was brand new. All the things were still not snapped out of the cardboard on the inside. The only thing it was missing was the promotional Pogs that came on the inside, so that was unfortunate. But like I said, I had this in my personal collection, couldn't really display it, and I ended up listing it and taking a best offer of $35 on it, which I am happy with. I ended up picking this up in a thrift store at a Goodwill for like $3, I think. So good investment there. But video game stuff, even if it's not the game itself, just the memorabilia and stuff, is hot items. Collectors like putting this stuff up in their rooms. If you find like the plushes, old board games, there's like Pac-Man board games and stuff as well that sell well. TV trays, anything that's video game related that's from back in the late 80s, early 90s is going to sell really well. So keep an eye out for even the memorabilia on video games. This is an Eileen Fisher woman's silk blouse. Now these things sell really well. Eileen Fisher has a very, very good following. So if you're just learning women's clothing, this is definitely a brand you need to learn. Here's what most of the tags look like. It's just a straight up black tag. It says her name. It'll feel silky, but the silk's like a coarse silk. I don't know how to describe it fully, but you'll know the feeling once you pick up one or two of them. You'll know how they feel, and it's just a great selling brand. Pretty much anything from her is going to sell above $20. This one being a more desirable size. This was a 3XL. It did sell for a little bit higher. It sold for $40, which I'm completely fine with, and I was sitting on this for less than a month. So this is a great brand to look for. Definitely something you want to keep an eye out if you're learning women's clothing for the first time. All right, here we have a pair of Rock Revival men's jeans. These were the Terrell Slim Straight Leg jeans. Now, Rock Revival in general is a great brand to look for. You want to look for this tag on the back of the jeans. And there are differences between the men's and the women's jeans. Women's typically go between $40 and $50. Men's jeans go between $50 and $60 on the typical styles. There are a few higher end style names that go for a bit more, but in general, those are the price ranges you're looking at. If you are new to Rock Revival jeans, you will be able to find the style name on the inside of the waistband. So you can see right here under my webcam, it says Terrell Slim Straight right there next to the 31, right next to the size. And that's how you tell what the style is. Men's jeans, like I said, are more desirable, but either way, if it's women's or men's, it's going to sell really fast. These sat in my store for about 3 weeks, and I took a best offer on them of $55. So this stuff is still selling. Next, we have a Sir Pendleton Virgin Wool shirt. I picked up a bunch of these in my last thrifting video. It might have been 2 thrifting videos ago. I picked up a bunch of them and sold almost out of them now. I think I might have 1 or 2 left from that lot. This is one of the last ones that went. This was a green plaid shirt. All of them sold for between $30 and $35. I took a best offer of $30 on this particular one, but some of the other ones did go for full price, which is awesome. If you don't know the brand, here's what the tags look like. You can see right here's the normal Pendleton tag that you'll typically find, and up here's the Sir Pendleton one, which increases the value a little bit. It takes it from like being a $30 wool shirt to a $35 wool shirt. The trick with Pendleton is a lot of the wool stuff will be worth very good money. The cotton stuff, the cotton shirts will still sell, but they sell under $20. They sell in like the $15 to $25 range. So depending on the size of the shirt, they might not be worth picking up if you're picking them up for $5 to $7. However, the wool ones are worth picking up. It just depends on what your profit margin is and what you're trying to get your ASP at. Next, we have a video game. Like I said, video games have been selling really well. This one I've had for a while. I want to say I had this one close to 6 months. So this is a EA Sports UFC 2 Deluxe Edition. Now this was a rare one, which is why I had it priced up a little bit higher. It wasn't selling, so I kept dropping the price. I think I started out at like $75 and it wasn't selling at that price. Like I said, this was a cover variant. This was like the rare cover, and I ended up dropping it and dropping and dropping it. Finally ended up selling at $45. Sometimes that stuff happens, but I still only had $5 into this game, so I can't be too disappointed. I also had this listed on Fulfilled by Merchant on Amazon, and it didn't sell in that time frame either. Sometimes you just sit on stuff that isn't super desirable, but video games will sell eventually as long as they are competitively priced. And this one, I just had to keep dropping it until it eventually sold. So I make mistakes on pricing too. It's something that we all do, and it's something that you learn as you go. Here we have that vintage Patagonia corduroy shirt that I found at the thrift store 2 videos ago. This was actually at the thrift store that I don't find a bunch of stuff at, so I was happy to pull this one out. I don't think I've ever pulled Patagonia out of that one. I listed it at $35. I was able to find 2 exact comps of this shirt and listed them competitively at that price. I've seen one that sold at $30, one that sold at $35. Mine was the only one listed on eBay at the time, so I chose to try for the higher price. Ended up getting a best offer of $30 and I snagged on it. These biking shorts were also in the last pickup video. I picked these up at a local Salvation Army. They are brand new with tag. Louis Garneau women's padded cycling shorts. Cycling shorts are selling very well for me right now. Cycling stuff in general is. Everybody's getting ready for the spring season, and it's still one of those activities that people can do while all this mess is going on. People are getting outside and they are hiking, they are biking, they are walking more, so outdoor stuff is selling well, like sporting equipment and stuff. This one ended up sitting on my store for only about 3 days, and I took a best offer of $40 on it. Here's that vintage USA Olympics 1984 t-shirt that I picked up in an estate sale about 3 weeks ago. Ended up listing it at $30. I had a bunch of offers of like 20 bucks on it, but I wanted to hold out on this one, so I ended up holding out and ended up getting my asking price, which is awesome. So I had like a buck into this at the estate sale and sold for 30 bucks. This style of stuff is what you want to look for when it's a vintage t-shirt. You want to look at the tag. This one is an older Vila Sheen tag, which is a mass marketed brand that a bunch of people printed their shirts on back then. But this one also had these nice rings around the collar and around the cuffs of the sleeves, and that just gave it this really cool vintage 80s look, and that look does sell well. Learning vintage clothing is definitely a learning curve and something that you need to do your research into before you jump into it, but once you learn it, it's very fun and it's a very cool section of clothing to learn and sell. I enjoy it a lot. Next up, we have a rag and bone Neiman Marcus for Target sweater. That was a mouthful. But I actually expected this to sell faster. A lot of Target collaboration pieces sell really well on eBay and on Poshmark. This one ended up sitting around for a couple months, which I was surprised at. When I picked it up, I was expecting it to sell within 2 weeks. No big deal. Had it listed at $35. Ended up taking a best offer of $30 on it. Again, if you're finding stuff that has this Target tag on it, like right here, this kind of stuff does have a following, and people do try to collect the different things from those brands. So Neiman Marcus, Rag & Bone, there was like a Hunter collaboration, there was like a Vineyard Vines collaboration. All that kind of stuff does still sell well, and it's stuff that people are on the lookout for. Okay, so this item is very niche specific. This is a Porsche design driver's vest. Now, this was a down vest, and you can see right here it was reversible, black and red, reversible. It had a nice Porsche spell out on the inside of the thing. So obviously I picked it up. It was going to be worth something being a down vest and having the Porsche branding on it. I was able to find a few listings, not exact comps, but other driver's vests that is sold, and they'd be selling anywhere between the 100 and 200 mark. So I ended up setting this price a little higher at 150 bucks. I figured, hey, it'll be a quick sale. Well, I was wrong. I sat on this since like last winter, I think, so I've had it for almost a year now. Ended up taking a best offer just here in the last week of, I believe, 125 bucks. It might have been 120, but in the end, it did end up selling, and I can't complain about the profits. I only had like $7 into this, so in the end, good profit. I sat on it a little longer. If I dropped the price, I probably could have got rid of it quicker, but I decided to keep holding out, and it took a while to sell. In that last thrifting video, I picked up 2 baseball gloves. This was one of them, a Wilson A500. This sold in 2 days at $32.50. I had like $3 into each of these 2 gloves, and like I said, outdoor activity stuff is starting to sell. Spring stuff is starting to sell. People are getting ready for baseball, which is a spring sport, and since people are stuck inside or not able to go to school and work, they're looking to get outside and do stuff. So all those factors combined resulted in a quick sale, and I am very happy with that profit. Speaking of baseball gloves, the other one also sold this week, and again in about 2 days. This was that D. Marini Insane baseball glove, listed at $42.50. I thought it would go between $40 and $50. Ended up taking a best offer of $40 on it. The last item for eBay that we're going to look at is this Philips Hue 80-inch light strip plus. It's like a color changing light strip that you can put around like your desk or like around your borders of your ceiling to have some dynamic lighting, get some different colors in there. I ended up picking these up at retail arbitrage for like $7.50, I want to say. Ended up selling it for $70, and I ended up picking up right before the stores closed here in Cincinnati, so it only took like 2 days to end up selling this one. And speaking of this is going to lead us into the next platform, which is Mercari. I'm going to show you 2 sales. This was also another one of those same light strips. I picked up 2 of them because that's all there was. Again, $7.50. This one sold on Mercari. This is the kind of stuff that I like to cross list. So I had this listed on eBay and Mercari at the same time. I had 2 of them, so it's not a big deal. and they both ended up selling on both platforms. And the other item I wanted to show you guys on Mercari was again another lighting item. It was another Philips Hue set of 4 LED smart lights. I had 2 of these as well, and both of them sold within 2 days as well. I had all these listed, cross-listed onto eBay as well, but they ended up selling faster on Mercari than they did on eBay. So if I find smart lighting features in the future, I might exclusively sell them here on Mercari because they actually sold really fast, and I couldn't complain with that. I also like Mercari as a selling platform because they do have the rating system. So once the buyer receives the item, they have like 3 days to rate the item, or like let you know if anything's wrong, and then once they rate you, you get your funds released and stuff, and you don't have to worry about returns and stuff, unlike eBay where they have like the automatic 30 days to look for a reason to return the item if they want. Anyways, Mercari is a great platform for hard goods, and it might be a platform you look into expanding into in the future. If you're only on eBay right now, it'll help increase your business in times like this. And this is the last item I wanted to bring to your attention because, again, I know a lot of you guys aren't sourcing in thrift stores and stuff right now, so I wanted to give you a bolo to look out at your essential stores. I'll put the footage up on the screen. This footage is also going to be in a retail arbitrage video here in the future, but I ended up picking 2 of these units up at $80 a piece retail at Target, and then I flipped them over to Amazon in that last non-essential goods shipment that I just sent in. They hit the stores, sold in the same day they hit Amazon for $275 a piece. Great profit there. This is one of those items you can look for at your Targets, at your Best Buys, at your Walmarts, at your Myers, anywhere that sells video games and video game consoles. You have a chance of finding this, and it's definitely something that I recommend you guys look up if you are at the grocery stores out in these times. Take a swing through the video game aisle, do some scanning, start scanning certain things. There is other items. I'm not going to show you the exact ones right now because, hey, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, right? But this is a bolo for you guys, and I thought it would be appreciated if I shared at least one thing that you could find currently at stores that are still open. But that's going to wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and I hope I'm able to help you guys do some selling while all this is going on. I hope this shows you that eBay is not dead. Sales are still going. You just have to be able to track the market and figure out how to still sell stuff. People are inside, they're on their computers, they are still buying stuff. People don't want to go out and buy stuff right now. So you should be making sales, and if you're not, make yourself make sales. Maybe put out some offers, maybe run a sale on your store, maybe promote some items, maybe cross-list some items onto different platforms. I talked about this stuff in my last video, so I'm not going to overhype it now, but I just wanted to put out some items to show you guys that things are selling still on multiple platforms, not just on eBay, not just on Amazon, not just on Mercari. They are selling across all the platforms for me, and I hope that that is the same case for you. Real quick, I normally don't use my platform like this, but in this case I am. I have a friend who has been for the last month competing in a contest for Inc. magazine. The contest is for her to get on the cover of Inc. magazine and have a cash prize of $25,000. That prize money would really help her out. She has a child with cystic fibrosis, and the medical bills can add up. On top of all that, she just got laid off of her job because of all the stuff going around right now. So for those reasons, I'm asking you guys if you would please help vote for her in this contest. That's all you have to do is go down in the description of this video, click the link, and then click free vote. That's all you have to do. She's currently in the quarterfinals, which means the contest is almost over. This little last push is all she needs to help boost her up in the rankings, and I appreciate it if you guys could go support her. With all that being said, please comment on this video if you've seen something that you liked or if you learned something. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, keep on treasure hunting. Peace.